My name is Ismail Qodax, and first I will uh, thank you. I have to say thank you to Dr. Kennedy Ali Hassan and also Mrs. Ben, the chairman of Horn of Africa Review, to organize this conference. Second, I regret not to participate in the conference for some technical reason, for some technical reason. Before I go to the theme or the topic that I would like address, I have to put in the context of international. As you all know, today the world we are living in is seeking a new world order. Since almost 80 years ago, after the Second World War II, the world has created many institutions such as UN, World Bank, IMF, others, human rights institutions. But other countries such as China, Russia, India, Brazil are challenging, the notion of this institution today and are working hard. They formed, as you all know, BRICS. So the world today, as I said earlier, is seeking a new world order. We have to put Horn of Africa, which is one of the hottest place in the world in this context. Horn of Africa is a strategic location because it is blessed by geography. Geography, as you all know, is a destiny. And although there are many conflicts in the Horn of Africa, but Ethiopia, Somaliland, there are few countries in that region who are doing well in terms of peace, economic, and other factors that affect the population in the Horn of Africa. So if I come to the main point that I would like to address in this brief time, the theme I would like to talk, or the topics, is the strategic logic or rationale behind the Ethiopia and Somaliland. I'm looking at the backdrop of the MOU that almost has been signed almost a year ago. At that background, my first argument is that Ethiopia pursued maritime access via the agreement with Somaliland is a strategically sound move, or was driven by economic necessity and not a diplomatic failure as portrayed by some. Second, out there is a defeat narrative. I refute that. The idea that Ethiopia was overpowered by international pressure. Instead, I suggest Ethiopia use sophisticated diplomacy as evidenced by the Ankara Declaration to ensure long-term regional stability. Third, if we put in the context of international law and Somaliland status, as you all know, there are three main elements, even if we look in the lens of international law, that Somaliland not only is today is a de facto, but can also, attributed, the element of that Somaliland can be, although it's in abstract, de jure state. One, Somaliland has fulfilled the Montevideo, Convention of 1933. Second, Somaliland gained its independence in 1960, June 26, 1960. In that reason, Somaliland is not violating the borders that has been inherited from the colonial time. And then third, as you know, the last 34 years, Somalia is a failure state. When a failure state, which was, a parent state, cannot fulfill, or protect, it is all the country that they used to claim. According to the United Nations Article 2, within the lens of self-determination of secession, that country can opt to be a free country. So, while acknowledging, as I say, Somalia de jure claim to Somaliland, I emphasize Somaliland de facto independence and Ethiopia's right as a landlocked country to access the sea under international law is primordial here. The agreement that they have signed was present as a mutual compact between two entities that have ability of negotiation. And that, in my perspective, has to be revived. The other element that I would like to talk about it, I would put it in the context of geopolitics. I highlighted the vested interests of other nations such as Egypt, Turkey in the region, or United Arab Emirates, and how their opposition, United is not opposing, but the other two countries, Turkey and Egypt, or even for that matter, Djibouti, how they opposed to the agreement was tied to their own strategic goal. Another element which is very important for Ethiopia and for Somaliland and for the region, for that matter, which is the integration of economy, is economic imperative. Ethiopia, as you all know, is a landlocked status and heavy reliance on Djibouti, which is every year they pay $2 billion for trade. For this reason is present as a critical vulnerability, and making the pursuit of alternative maritime access is essential for its economic security. Ethiopia has a population almost now around 138, so it needs to access to the Red Sea. And my last point here is I'm urging the international community to facilitate solutions that address Ethiopian needs while promoting regional stability rather than enforcing the status quo. ስላዳመጣችሁኝ በጣም ነው የማመሰግነው። ቅድም እንዳልኩት አቶ ኬኔዲድ እና እህቴ ቤን ይህንን ፕሮግራም በማዘጋጀታችሁ በጣም ነው ከልቤ ነው የማመሰግነው። ሁለተኛ የሶማሌላንድ እና የኢትዮጵያ ጥሩ ግንኙነት እንዲኖር በተለይም በኢኮኖሚም በሴኩሪቲም በሌሎቹ ካየን በጣም አስፈላጊ ነው። እንደሚታወቀው ኢትዮጵያና ሶማሌላንድ በብዙ በኩል ኢትዮጵያ ሶማሌላንድን እየረዳች ነበር። በትምህርት በኩል ካየን፣ በሴኩሪቲ ካየን፣ በሚሊተሪ ካየን እና እነዚህ ሁለት ሀገሮች እኔ እንደሚመስለኝ ይሄ የመጀመሪያ ብቻ ኮንፈረንስ ብቻ ሳይሆን ለወደፊቱም ይቀጥላል ብዬ ነው የምገምተው እና በጣም ነው የማመሰግናችሁ ይሄንን ነገር በማዘጋጀቱ።